There's been other times in my life when it's been tough. There's been times when I've had problems, I've had needs, when I've had difficulties in my life. But understand, I go back and I remind myself of what God did on that day. Our family had a crisis where, and you that's been here a long time have heard my story, my kids were sick and had all kinds of difficulty all of their lives, and seemed like that's just been kind of been our lot in life. But my oldest daughter had been in a coma for 8 weeks on life support, and we just got home and ended up owing $181,000 in medical expenses. And every time the letters were piled up, the people I owed, every time the phone rang, I'd say, "Don't answer that." Because anybody here know what I'm talking about? The anesthesiologists, they want their money. You know, the heart doctor wants his money. The kidney doctor wants their money. They all want their money, but there ain't no more money. I'd already give all my savings. I'd give my 401k. I'd give the equity in my house just to keep the machines going for my daughter, to keep her living. So I'm telling you, the only time in my life that we actually didn't have enough food in the house to eat. Only time. Now, I was raised dirt poor on a farm and no running water in the outhouse out, that's me. I'm old. But understand that we always ate good. But Brother Jeff, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but this was one time in our life where we literally were busted. I'm telling you, the wolf was at the door. So here we are, and I'm depressed, and I feel like a failure as a daddy. I feel like a failure as a husband. I feel like a failure as a preacher. I feel like a failure as a man. And I looked at the bills, and I told my wife, I said, "Honey, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do." And I put my face in my hands, and I sat down on the fireplace and just sat there, just in a funk, if you would. My wife said this. She said, "Girls, I got Charity, Hope, and Faith." And they were little at that time. And she says, "We need to pray for Daddy." So here they come. Karen came. She laid her hand on my knee right there. And the girls came up and they started praying for Daddy. And I never remember Hope. And some of y'all knew Hope. You were, her parents when she was here at Southeastern. But I can remember Hope praying just as sincere. She said, "Oh, God, help Daddy. God, help Daddy. God, please help Daddy. God, please help Daddy." That's all she said. God, help Daddy. Well, they went on about their hog killing, and I'm sitting there on the fireplace, still feeling sorry for myself, and the phone rang. "Don't answer that." Bill collector. But for some reason, I felt compelled to answer the phone. So I went over and I picked up the phone and answered it. And on the other end of the line, there's a voice that says, "Curtis!" Now, he was 200 miles away. He wouldn't even needed the phone. He's an old leather-lunged Free Will Baptist preacher. He said, "Curtis, what's wrong with you?" I said, "What do you mean, Tom?" He said, "Don't you give me that. What's wrong with you?" I said, "Tom, what are you talking about?" He said, "I'm telling you, you need to shut up with that mess." He said, "God woke me up in the middle of the night last night. I hadn't got a wink of sleep because of you. God woke me up and told me you was in trouble and told me we needed to do something for you." And he said, "I ain't got no sleep. I'm in a bad mood. I'm cranky." He said, "Can you be at the airport at Lawton in about a couple of hours and bring two trays?" He said, "No, bring 2 trucks and 2 trailers. Can you do that?" I said, "Yeah, I think." Click. Never will forget that every Thanksgiving at my house, here's the same story I'm telling you. See, there's been other times in my life when it's been tough. There's been times when I've had problems, I've had needs, when I've had difficulties in my life. But understand, I go back and I remind myself of what God did on that day. But anyway, we go out the airport. I never will forget it long as I live. All of a sudden, here comes this big old cargo plane coming in. They land that cargo plane, pull up there where we are. the front end of that thing opens up, and man, there's a whole hog in there. There's a half a beef in there. There's bicycles, toys. There's enough food for 2 or 3 years. I mean, it's piled in there all over. I mean, you can't imagine bicycles, toys, clothes, anything you can imagine to get a family by for months, even years. And he said, God woke me up and told me, he said, you've got a few friends. He said, but don't you understand? Here's what I want you to understand. Before those kids even prayed, and before I even prayed, God was already at work 200 miles away. He said that in Jeremiah. He said, hey, before you even called, I answered. Let me tell you something. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I like this section right here. And you stay here. I'm going to need you. Every year at Thanksgiving, where's that water at? I tell that to my family. Before we eat the turkey, the prime rib. So you understand, I got plenty of groceries now. God's been good. But I'm telling you, here's the point. Whatever you're dealing with right now, I want you right now to look back over your life and remember a time when God showed up. Remember a time when God made a promise, when God made you a covenant. Brother Jeff, I remember a time when you wasn't in very good shape. I remember, hey, you're in bad shape. And understand, God has used even that to make you the man you are today. Understand, we need to remind ourselves of God's faithfulness to us in the past.